In the interest of transparency, I think that it'd be an important time right now. Take advantage of what we have at the time being, and just look at some of the most interesting cryptocurrencies that I think are important to pay attention to. In terms of 2019 quarter one. I think that this is a pretty important moment where we could pretty much get some much needed perspective on the cryptocurrency space. I know that there's a lot of YouTubers out there who would apt to sort of just shill for one of their shit coins or something like that, but that's not how we roll on this channel. I try to give even-handed perspective all the way across the board, just to give you guys my perspective and my opinion, and you guys could take that, run with it, whether or not you like what I have to say or not. I mean, that's up to you. But all right, first crypto on the list. I'm going to have to give hats off to Cardano. Now, when we want to talk about altcoins for 2018, I really think that ADA is right on the chopping block as far as interesting things that have happened. I mean, with their recent release of their white paper and the just happened, and I think that we're starting to see some very interesting developments, paving the way for the academic world to actually have this peer review. It's something that we haven't really seen before in the cryptocurrency. The way that Cardano is actually making headway. Can't knock ADA. That's for sure. Yeah. So that's why Cardano's number one on the list. And when we want to talk about Charles Hoskinson's, after all, he is the founder, and he's definitely an important figure to talk about. One of the most interesting in the cryptocurrency space. And if I'm going to put my faith, in a project, it's got to have a solid team behind it. And when I look at what Cardano actually aims to do, it really is unprecedented in the overall context of what crypto aims to offer. And when we look at the Cardano smart contracts and actually how they've managed to maneuver their setup up until this point, it's definitely an interesting crypto, and that's why we put it on the list. Now, number two, I know that a lot of people are going to see this as sort of a controversial decision, but I got to give the number two position to XRP. Now, when we look at the different movements that the establishment has been making, how the banks and so forth have been responding to this new technology, the digital asset class, as it's been called, and as it's basically making its inroads into the space. Now, I believe that Cardano is definitely has its place, but right now, I mean, XRP it seems to be the establishment's decision. Whether or not, if you want to see the contrast in between, Cardano and XRP, I think, XRP has its bed made, with the establishment. I mean, we've seen that the, these various different institutional bodies, of interest have already given us these signs of how they're, going to be making XRP known. So it's definitely one of those cryptos that I'm, giving some, paying some lip service to. There's a reason why Cardano has such a big, community that's been building behind it. And one of the things that I want to talk about when it comes to XRP is going to be we got to look at these different developments that have been happening, that have involved these for instance, Ripple's receives New York's first bit license for institutional use. It's going to be the banks that I believe are going to have the final call when it comes to cryptocurrency. And the fact of the matter is that when we see how XRP has been leveling its leveraging its presence on the international stage, it's definitely a crypto that's notable in that sense. And also, something I mentioned in the most recent video, this individual, being added, Benjamin Losky, on the board of directors at XRP, is sort of another sign that we're seeing as far as institutional use. When people talk about utility XRP, are living up to cross-border Yeah, I mean, that's the fact of the matter is, I mean, we see it. XRP is working in the world right now, so it definitely draws attention, to that effect. But moving right along, so number 3 on the list, I'm going to have to give that spot to TRON. TRON TRX is definitely an interesting altcoin that I'm paying attention to, in particular when looking forward to seeing what 2019 is going to offer. Again, looking at the founder, Justin Sun, certainly an individual of note, worth mentioning. And especially when we see the decentralized vision for the future that TRON actually has going for itself, that does show a foresight. Obviously, with the cryptocurrency space being where it is, the market, all these different variables, withholding. I mean, we have to pay attention to the situation that we're dealt with. Obviously 2018 wasn't the best year for cryptocurrency by any stretch of the imagination, but then again, I think 2018 was definitely a necessary year, purging a lot of those various different bad actors and, altcoins, all these different variables sort of coming together, creating, I think, what would amount to be a perfect storm, giving advantages where advantages are due, and of course, the key, substantial things that we could be paying attention to, just looking at some of the top performers of, just the time of making this video, TRON, coming up. It's always interesting to see how these different cryptos are performing, even in this market. ADA, Cardano, we already mentioned that. That's the first. That was why it's the first one on the list. But then, moving right along, number 4 on the list, I'm going to have to give it to Stellar. What we're seeing happening with XLM, and what they're doing, cross-border payments and all these things. Again, unprecedented, as we know. I mean, XLM is a fork off of Ripple, so it remains, obviously, it's pretty in your face when you think about it, but yeah, and of course I'm gonna have to put Manero on the list as well, but realistically Monero is can be a placeholder for any noteworthy privacy technology. I wouldn't necessarily, not limited to Monero, but any privacy crypto that basically has its salt, lives up to its worth in the cryptocurrency space. Privacy technologies certainly do speak for themselves. I mean, if one thing that it goes for certain, the reason why paper money is so attractive is because it's pretty much the original privacy transaction tool people can use. And of course, moving right along, on the list, I mean, this next point on the list, I'm going to have to pretty much give to about 3 cryptos, because I feel ultimately the same about their value, but I'm kind of torn whether or not I'm going to put them on different positions on the list. One of them is going to definitely be Electroneum. The way that they've been marketing themselves and positioning themselves as like one of the only games in town. It's definitely remains to be seen. I'm excited to see how Electroneum is going to be leveraging mobile mining and all these things. I'm going to put a basic attention token in that same category, sharing that position in the list. Basic attention token is shown time and time again, especially in the age of what we've been seeing happening with the decline of services like Patreon and all these different things. I think that there is a fundamental demand for what basic attention token has to offer. And then, of course, I'm going to put Ethereum probably deserves a higher position on the list, but again, remember, this list isn't in any particular order. Ethereum definitely is an altcoin that I'm paying attention to, though. I've got to give credit where credit is due. Ethereum's done some great things in the past, has a well-established reputation for itself. It's definitely interesting. This commenter says, these are all your biggest holdings so far. Super excited for all these projects apart from basic attention token. All doing different jobs and hold a place in the future for sure. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think I mean, time will tell. I mean, I get criticized all the time because I make these what people call outlandish cryptocurrency predictions. But what I mean, I think that I'm just one of the only people who has the balls to make the predictions where predictions are due. I mean, people probably have their own responses, but that's why I put a disclaimer in every single video. I could be wrong, and I invite criticism, wherever you guys might have it. But at the same time, I think when we finally do see the bull run, the end all bull run, mass adoption, finally, having its place, I think I'll be the person who has the last laugh because everybody else is going to be struggling to catch up. But I've remained pretty consistent with my predictions. I haven't really faltered on my feelings towards cryptocurrency one iota, and I think I'm still thinking in terms of when Bitcoin was at its all-time highs. And I sort of refuse to come down to earth. Now, even if it's this year, even if it's next year, I know that redemption remains somewhere in our future. If you're a cryptocurrency believer, then I think that you'll understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, well, I was actually getting to Digibyte. Digibyte certainly holds a special place in my heart. It's actually on the list. I don't remember where we are on the list for the top 7, but yeah, I was going to mention Digibyte. I am mentioning Digibyte. Obviously, I'm planning on making a video about Digibyte in the future, but of course, yeah, Digibyte gets a place on the list. When we're talking about what Digibyte aims to actually have a place in the world, yes, I mean, the fact of the matter is we look at security. The fact of the matter is that the future of the world is going to be determined around passwords, around securities, and I think that when we talk about Digibyte, it's sort of speaks for itself. What do I think about Icon? I think it's a solid project as well. Another one I'm interested. I mean, of course, I can make this list and just go on and just talk about all the different cryptos on here, but these are just the ones that I'm personally excited about. Obviously, remember, I'm not your dad. This video is just my opinion. But yeah, some other cryptos I'm interested in. I mean, Golem, definitely something I'm paying attention to. I want to see Steam succeed. I want to see these cryptocurrency-based platforms that can serve as like a social media platform. It's a very attractive concept when I think about all these different things, and which is also another reason why TRON is certainly on my radar. Actually, we're going to be making a video about TRON in the near future. Yeah, TRON's definitely a crypto that I'm paying attention to. When we talk about Justin Sun, we talk about we're looking at a very interesting. I'm interested in the summit. As all these different things are on the horizon. And I think BitTorrent, the mission statement. I mean, all in the roadmap. I mean, TRON definitely has an interesting vision, to decentralize the web, and we're going to see some interesting developments nonetheless. I don't like what XRP stands for, but it also has an amazing future. Yeah, I agree. I know I'm not going to be reluctant to include XRP on a list like this because I'm not going to sit here and make moral judgments on the cryptocurrencies that we're looking at. When it comes down to it, XRP is just has all of its ducks in a row to have a big future that's ahead of it. Yeah, and of course ADA is certainly an interesting crypto to be paying attention to, to include on that list. And I think another one I haven't mentioned on here is Neo. I'm certainly excited to see what's going to happen with China and the smart economy. Definitely a lot of interesting things developing in that way. EOS, also another very interesting crypto that I think has real world utility. And yeah, Omisi Go, I think that we're definitely going to see an interesting future. I mean, anything really in the top 100, I think, is going to be able to survive the purge that's eventually going to take place. I mean, my theory, and I'll stand by it. I'm very stubborn when it comes to my opinions on the space. Is that the top 100 aside, and of course a few others, any crypto that doesn't have a real world utility is going to wiped off the map. I mean, this is just common sense for anybody who looks at the actual. I mean, there's a lot of pump and dumps. I mean, the fact of the matter is that once we see institutional money getting poured into crypto, there's going to be so much competition in this space that I believe it's going to be difficult for a lot of these various different projects to resist going to zero. So yeah, I mean, top 100, top 200. I mean, obviously, a few of them, aside, the more useless ones will probably be smited. But I'm definitely interested. I mean, anything on this list is, basically we love half of them. F's so much for top 10. Top 7. I'm sorry, it's getting late. But yeah, so XRP and ADA, two of my top dogs. Interested to see. This is an interesting article. Well, piece of information. The announcement of the launch of the long demanded XRP base pair, TRX and XRP, open for trading. Now, the big milestones, historical moments in cryptocurrency happening. Skycoin, 8 years of development, its own scripting language, new algorithms, a working product, yeah, I mean, Skycoin definitely does have its place. I mean, I'm interested in, I'm a big fan of just researching all these cryptos. Eventually, I'm going to make a video where we analyze, go really into detail, and I think we'll be able to shovel through a lot of these different altcoins and really point by point go through them so that we can pretty much get a better idea. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and comment down below. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys remember, this video is not any sort of advice. It's not financial advice. I'm not your dad, like I said. Yeah, I mean, all that being said, where do you see the total market cap at the end of 2019? Hopefully, I mean, best case scenario for the market cap, I mean, if we see everything going the way that we want it to go, hopefully it'll be somewhere around where we saw it, towards the all-time highs. I mean, if that's the case, but I mean, the highest I could see, Bitcoin going would be like 50,000, and the lowest I could see Bitcoin being would be like 2,000. And it's still, time will tell. I think, yeah, above 400 billion is a pretty conservative, but of course it is it's too early to tell for 2019, I'd say. I think we're going to have to see, a lot of these different international things need to get ironed out, in terms of regulations and how, these different communications are going to take place between, these really, it's a David and Goliath situation where I'm sure we're in store for an uphill battle, to say the least, when it comes to crypto. And I think a lot of our faiths are probably going to be tested along that journey. But now I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's been really fun making this list. And I'll see you guys in the next video. We're actually going to be making a video very shortly, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.